Yes, people, welcome back to another video on Never a Foul. Make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, do all of the regular things. Because, guys, normally we're talking about Liverpool ins. Today, we're talking about a Liverpool out, and that is Ibrahima Konate, the French central defender, has reportedly decided to leave the club after his contract ends at the end of next season. Now, I don't know Liverpool fans are shocked. Let me know in the comments. However, I'd be disappointed because for me, Konate just had the best season that he's had at Liverpool Football Club. He has been a monster when fit. He didn't even start the first game of the season against Ipswich away. I remember that half 12 kickoff. Konsa started, got injured, came off, and Konate never looked back. He snapped that chain and snatched that chain, should I say, and said, yo, this is my spot this season. And he's gone on to become a Premier League winner and playing an integral part in that for Arne Slot in his first season. However, the news today is that he will be leaving the club, whether it's this summer or next summer. That's now down to Liverpool. That's now down to the club to decide whether they want to take money and take funds and replace him, or go out and replace him now and then let his contract run down and say, yeah, you're going to be part of the squad. Constance just left for 35 million. They need a centre back. Can they afford to lose two? I don't know. And I don't think Liverpool will do that because Ibrahima Konate, for me at the moment, is a player that's on the way up. He's only getting better. It's rumored already that he's going to be linked to a team like Real Madrid. Now, you look at Real Madrid and come on, they're the biggest team in the world. They've been linked with Saliba. It looks like they want a French centre-back. But when you look at Real Madrid's situation, of course, they've just signed Huijsen from Bournemouth. You've got Asensio, who I don't really rate personally. Rudiger's going to slowly get a bit older, even though he's an absolute monster of a centre-back. Eder Militao, 2 ACL injuries. David Alaba, not the same player anymore. They are going to need to freshen it up. They're going to need to bring in new blood, some experienced players who are in that middle age of the middle 20s. And Konate suits that. Real Madrid are looking to the future with Xabi Alonso. And it looks like Konate, of course, like most players, is not going to be able to turn down Real Madrid, especially if they come sniffing on a free contract at the end of next season. Sign-on fee, the rest. Few French players there, Tchouameni, Mbappe. You're laughing, really, at the biggest club in the world. So I understand it when Real Madrid are in a conversation. Real Madrid is another team that I look at McAllister. And even though he's enjoying himself at Liverpool, I think, well, McAllister's at the pinnacle of the Premier League right now. Where would McAllister go? He wouldn't go to another Premier League club. It's literally Barcelona or Real Madrid. It's just them two Spanish giants that can lure players. And I'm not saying McAllister's going to go, but if I was looking at where he could go, it's Real Madrid or Barcelona, them type of teams. And I think Konate now looks like he's made a decision. He's been at Liverpool a few years, and it's not been the quickest start for him at the football club. I feel like this year was the first year he really established himself as the nailed-on starter. Obviously, he was battling with Matip before that, So now Konate is a regular starter. Him and Van Dijk work together brilliantly, and you probably would say they're the best partnership in the league. They balance each other out perfectly. Van Dijk's the sweeper, the expert, mastermind, and you've got Konate, aggressive, good in duels, 1v1, physical, dominant in the air. It's everything that you want in a modern day centre back. Konate has that, and I think one thing as well I'm gonna tag into it is that Kirkers and Frimpong have just been bought in by Liverpool, right? And when I look at them, small fullbacks, they're not tall, small fullbacks, up and down, energy, marauding. You need a bit of height. You need a bit of dominance in that defense because I can't think, you can have a team that's, got one tall centre back in Van Dijk and then the three other defenders are small. I think Liverpool need a bit of that dominance because at times you saw last year, they were left in 2v2 transitions. Konate, strong, beating his attacker, fending him off, or putting the ball out for a throw-in or whatever it is, coming away in possession, and the crowd shouting, Ibu! You can hear that. You can breathe that. You can feel that. Van Dijk doing the same thing on the other side. So when you look at the centre-backs and the profiles they need someone that's going to be able to do good recovery speed, good in duels, good in defending the channels. And that's what Konate possesses. He's not going to be an easy player to replace because I think Konate is a top centre-back. I do think he's good. I really do. Yes, all players have their lapses in concentration and their moments. I get it. Konate has that. However, he is a player on the up. He has the perfect traits for the Premier League. He's now a Premier League winner. Top player. Top player. And now, we've got to look at it and say, right, Liverpool have got to replace him. Who should they replace him with? So the first name I'm going to look at, and guys, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe as well if you're new, is Mark Guehi. FA Cup winner, Crystal Palace captain, Premier League proven, can play left and right centre back. So a player that can come in, comfortable on the ball, left and right centre back, and he's won with Crystal Palace. He's been captain there. He's come from the Chelsea academy, so he's been around that winning mentality, especially from seeing the from being in the youth team to seeing the professionals at that time. Because he's only 24 years of age. He's still coming into that middle part of his peak. He's not at his peak yet, but he's been around that culture at Chelsea for the last 10, 15 years where they've been winning things. He's seen the mentality of the club. So I look at Guehi and I think he could be a player available for maybe 45 million with 1 year left on his deal, ready for a step up now, wants to be winning more trophies, wants to establish himself as an England centre-back. Would he be a player that you guys would take? Would he be a player that you guys would take at Liverpool Football Club, whether it's this season or next season? And the three players I'm going to name here in this video, they could all be attainable potentially this season or next season. You know, money does talk. The football club itself, Liverpool, does talk, and being Premier League winners does talk. The only negative I'll say with Guehi is that when I look at him, does he have that dominance and physicality that a Konate has? He doesn't. He's only about 6 foot tall. So he's not the tallest. He's not the strongest, but he is mobile. He is athletic. He is Premier League proven. I think there are pluses that come with Guehi, and he would learn a lot of Van Dijk. And also he gives that element of leadership. Robertson's slowly probably going to leave the club this year or next year. Van Dijk's a leader at the moment at the back. They don't really have loads of experience. Kirkers and Frimpong are both young. Yes, Frimpong is one of the Bundesliga, but do you know what I mean? Just a bit of that grit. And I can understand why clubs like Newcastle and Liverpool are looking at Guehi. So he's one player that I believe the club should look at. The other one is this. Guehi out to Palace, from Palace, and potentially this one into Palace. However, Liverpool could opt to leave Guehi and go for Ousmane Diomande. Played over 30 games in the league for Sporting Lisbon last year. Played 25 plus the year before that under Ruben Amorim. Won the league twice. Ivory Coast international. Now, when I talk about physicality and dominance, he gives me that sort of feel. He gives me that sort of feel. And this guy is 21. This guy is 21. Ousmane Diomande probably available for about 40 million. But his strike rate is going up. He's only going to get better. He does have a few mistakes in him. He does have a few moments in him. But when you're with Van Dijk and when you're learning under Slot and you have the pace of Kirkers and Frimpong, maybe you can get out of trouble. Maybe you can afford yourself to have a few mistakes, or a couple, should I say, at the highest level. But I look at Diomande and I think you are so suited to the Premier League. Tall, physical, good in the air, and on the way up. And just the same way Liverpool signed Konate a few years ago when he was in his early 20s, they might look to do the same with someone like Ousmane Diomande. Because winning that Portuguese league, yeah, people might say it's not the Premier League, it's not the Bundesliga, it's not the Spanish league. I get that. But players have got to make their mark somewhere. And to go down to the final day with Benfica this year and win that league and then do the same last year where they beat Benfica to the league, and he's been an important part of that, that's only good for his growth and development. 100%. And I think Diomande could be a player that could really help Liverpool not only now, but going ahead in the future as well. And when you buy a player for maybe 40 million at 21 years of age, there's only upscale in that. They're only going to get better. So they're two players we're looking at right now. One is Guehi, 24, only a few years older, but Premier League proven, won an FA Cup, ready for the step up. Diomande, 21, younger, a bit less experience in terms of in the Premier League, of course, but has won the league twice in Portugal, played an important part in that. One of the highly sought after centre-backs in terms of 21 or under across Europe. I think that's a player that Liverpool could maybe, assess and say, do you know what? It's worth a shot. But of course, remember, they've lost Konsa already. They're probably going to have to bring in a centre-back this season, especially if Konate is going next season. Then you can plan ahead, and then maybe next summer go and get another centre-back if you like, because we've got to throw Gomez into this conversation. We've got to remember he's never fit enough. So losing basically Gomez in a sense and Konsa, they've only got Konate and Van Dijk as centre-backs. They need to go out and get someone. And Diamande would definitely be a tenable from Sporting Lisbon. We know these Portuguese teams like to sell. My last one is a wild card, guys. Like, don't get mad at me or say I'm delusional, because I'm just throwing it out there with football, PSR, a team that I think are going to either go that way or a bit that way. Why not test the waters? Why not test the waters with 27-year-old Ezri Konsa? Why not? Why not? For me, a really good player. A really good player. Established himself as one of the best centre-backs at Aston Villa, if not the best centre-back. England international. Quick, good in transition, comfortable on the ball, solid 1v1, can defend channels. He's got everything you want in a Premier League defender. Comfortable in the back five, comfortable in the back four. Obviously, Liverpool player back four. Probably available for 50 million. The negative for him is that his contract runs out in 2028. He only signed a new deal in 2023, which was a 5-year deal, because Villa knew how good he probably could become or how good he is right now, and they value him. It's not going to be easy taking him away for Aston Villa. I get that. Unai Emery, tough nut to crack. However, money does talk. Ambition of a player does talk. And the state of a club does talk. Now, I don't know Aston Villa's PSR record at the moment and if they need to sell. But if you're a Liverpool, board and you're looking at Konsa and you make an offer, Konsa's definitely going to think about it, because I don't personally believe that Villa are going to get any better. I feel like they got into the Champions League a couple seasons back. Last season. Done well, pushed PSG. But they fell short. They're in Europa League this year. But I don't feel like they're going to get back into the Champions League. That's just what my gut tells me. I think Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, they're all going to be pushing in the transfer window, as you can see at the moment. And I think they're all going to get better. And I just don't know if Villa are going to be able to maintain or sustain them levels. Not saying they're not sustaining any level. They're sustaining a good level. They're in the top 8 in the Premier League. I think they'll be there. They've got a good manager. They do build into the club. They do invest. But I just don't see him going any further. And I don't know if Konsa might look at it and be like, in a year or two, maybe it's time for me to move on. But with the position of Liverpool Football Club right now and needing a centre-back, it could be just the timing that they look at it and say, look, let's just throw a little conversation in there. Let's throw a little email out there. See what Konsa's head's at. See where it's at. I just think, why not? You've got nothing to lose. If not, you've got options, like I said, Guehi, Diamande already. But I'm going to throw Konsa's name in the hat as my wild card, because I do like Konsa. I think if I looked at all three, and like this video, by the way, I think Konsa's probably the least suited to Van Dijk, because I don't think they're both aggressive. I think they're both more, should I say, sweepers. They like to mop up play. They're quick in recovering, and they read the game well. They don't dive in. They're not really reckless or aggressive. So I don't know if they'll go together well as a pair. However, I look at Diamande and I think he's front foot, like Konate, the one that will go and dive in for the ball, be aggressive, might get a yellow card here and there, but Van Dijk's there to mop up. But sometimes you need that, especially in transitions. Pinch the ball back, give it. I think Diamande can be an aggressive type of player that might get caught out at times, but he's going to win most of his duels, and he's only going to get better at 21 years of age. Diamande could really suit Van Dijk potentially as a partnership, and he'll learn a lot from Van Dijk as well. And then you've got Guehi. He's probably a bit of both. He can do the sweeper. He's got recovery pace. He's got the experience. He's got the leadership at Palace, but also he can be aggressive at times. He can dive into a tackle. He can win the ball back. He can be front foot. So Guehi probably is the most overall right pick in terms of what Liverpool want and need, but I think he lacks the physicality that Diamande brings, which I like the physicality, especially if you've got fullbacks like Kirkers and Frimpong. And then you've got Konsa, who's probably a bit more stylistically towards the Guehi side, and Diamande is more that side. But these are just 3 options that I'm picking out for Liverpool. There might be other options out there that you guys can pick. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know your thoughts on Konate, because I think this is a great player. He's on the way up, but I understand if he wants to go to Real Madrid, football's a short career. You've won your league at Liverpool. If you want to go, then go, and football moves on. Liverpool will recover from this. But I do think he's a player that they need to make sure they're replaced properly. With Konsa going and Joe Gomez on the decline and not fit enough to, be a deputy or, start at Liverpool Football Club. Let me know your take on this situation. Guys, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bless up.